If I told you that our bodies always whisper the approach of death, long before it arrives, clear and unmistakable, but most of us miss it, would you believe me? A slight change today, a distant gaze tomorrow, and then it's too late to hold on. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Late Life. With over 20 years of experience in clinical medicine, I've witnessed countless sacred and fragile moments between life and death. I have been there when fathers, mothers, children, and elders cross that final threshold. And I realized one profound truth. Death never truly comes without warning. Our bodies always send signals, whispering gently, if only we knew how to listen. Today, I want to share with you 9 silent signs that the body is preparing to complete its journey. Not so you live in fear, but so you can cherish, prepare for, and fully love those final moments together. 1. Sleeping much more than usual. I clearly remember Eleanor, an 87-year-old woman with late-stage Parkinson's disease. Once lively and fond of evening strolls in her garden, she began sleeping more and more over just a few weeks. First taking long daytime naps, then struggling to wake for meals or conversations, and eventually slipping peacefully away in her sleep like a gentle breeze. When life begins to wane, the body's metabolism slows down dramatically. Energy is no longer sufficient to maintain daily activities, and profound fatigue settles deep into the cells, not the usual tiredness, but a natural withdrawal. A 2022 study showed that in their final days, people spent over 80% of their time sleeping or in a semi-conscious state, barely responding to their surroundings. If you notice a loved one sleeping excessively, becoming hard to wake, or unresponsive to voices and light, it may be a sign their body is preparing to leave this world. 2. Hallucinations and confusion. Richard, an 81-year-old man battling terminal lung cancer, often stared at the doorway as if seeing someone invisible, sometimes raising his hand in greeting, sometimes smiling softly. Just one day later, he passed peacefully in his sleep. End-of-life hallucinations aren't psychiatric disorders. They are natural neurological changes as the brain begins to shut down. A 2020 study found that nearly 50% of dying patients experience visual or auditory hallucinations, seeing deceased loved ones, speaking to invisible presences, or talking about embarking on a journey. If a loved one sees departed relatives, talks about travels, or calls names of those long gone, it may be their mind preparing gently for the greatest departure of all. 3. A distant, unfocused gaze and changes in eye appearance. Elizabeth, a 77-year-old woman with end-stage kidney failure, developed a cloudy, distant gaze in her final days. The whites of her eyes tinged faintly blue from weakened circulation. The eyes, the windows of the soul, also mirror deep biological transitions as death approaches. In their final days, a person's eyes may lose focus, barely respond to light, and remain half open, as if seeing beyond this world. If you notice someone's eyes growing cloudy, gazing into distance, fading from the present, it could be a sign their soul is preparing to move on. 4. Talking about going away or packing. George, a 72-year-old man with advanced pancreatic cancer, had been bedridden for weeks. One morning, he suddenly became unusually alert, scanning the room as if searching, smoothing his blanket over and over as if packing for a journey. Later that evening, he quietly passed away. It's no coincidence that many nearing death begin to speak of traveling, packing bags, waiting for rides, or seeking important documents like passports. This is how the mind translates the overwhelming concept of leaving life into more familiar, manageable terms. Research from Harvard shows that symbolic speech like this is incredibly common in the final days. Talking about trains, journeys, or trips, a gentle, human way of accepting the inevitable transition. If your loved one mentions packing, traveling, or waiting for someone, know that their journey may be close. 5. Changes in breathing patterns, gasping, or long pauses. Martha, An 84-year-old woman with advanced Alzheimer's disease one night began breathing in shallow, uneven gasps, with long pauses between breaths. Her family thought she was simply resting, but just a few hours later, she passed away quietly. When death nears, changes in breathing are among the clearest signs. A phenomenon known as Cheyne-Stokes breathing, cycles of deep breathing followed by periods of no breathing, is common in those nearing the end. A 2023 study confirmed that breathing changes are one of the strongest biological indicators that death is close, especially when accompanied by gurgling sounds caused by fluid buildup. If you notice a loved one struggling to breathe, taking long pauses, or breathing very shallowly, know that their body is gently letting go, preparing for final release. 6. Drop in body temperature, bluish skin, and mottling. Harold, 69 years old, had been in hospice care for weeks due to diabetes complications. One evening, his daughter touched his hand and was shocked by how icy cold it was, his skin turning bluish purple and mottled. By morning, he had peacefully passed. In the last hours, blood circulation slows dramatically, prioritizing vital organs, leaving hands and feet cold and skin pale or mottled. Many studies show that within the last 24 to 48 hours, fulled extremities, mottled skin patches, and a significant drop in body temperature are signs that life is ebbing away. If your loved one's hands and feet grow cold, skin color changes, or body temperature drops suddenly, the end may be just hours away. 7. Loss of interest in food and drink. Mary, an 80-year-old woman who once loved starting her day with a strong cup of coffee, gradually lost all interest in food during her final weeks. Even her favorite meals went untouched, and eventually even small sips of water became too much. As death nears, the digestive system shuts down, and the body's need for food and hydration disappears. Energy is reserved solely for vital functions. A 2021 study confirmed that loss of appetite and thirst are among the earliest physiological signs of the body's final withdrawal. If your loved one stops eating, struggles to swallow, or rejects even water, please understand, it's not refusal. It's nature's way of allowing them to let go gently. 8. Withdrawal from the outside world. A 75-year-old man who had always been the life of family gatherings, slowly withdrew in his final weeks. He spoke less, gave distant smiles, and often stared out the window in silent thought. This social withdrawal is not depression, but a natural part of the dying process, as the body and mind gradually detach from the physical world. A 2020 study showed that in their final weeks, most people reduce communication, avoid eye contact, and respond less even to loved ones, with some no longer recognizing familiar faces. If someone you love grows quiet, withdraws into themselves, or seems lost in thought, know they are not pushing you away. They are simply preparing for the journey beyond. 9. An unshakable sense of peace. Dorothy, 83, after weeks of restlessness due to late-stage dementia, suddenly became alert one afternoon. Her eyes lit up, a soft smile crossed her face, and she looked peacefully toward the corner of the room. That night, she passed away in her sleep, leaving her family with the memory of the most serene farewell they had ever witnessed. One of the most touching signs of approaching death is a profound, inexplicable peace. Many people in their final hours report a deep acceptance, a lightness, or even visions of loved ones waiting for them. A 2023 study found that many dying individuals experience relief, joy, or reconciliation during their final moments. Their body weakens, but their spirit seems ready. If you notice a sudden calmness, a bright look in the eyes, or a gentle smile, know that the soul has found its peace. My dear friends, recognizing these signs is not about living in fear, but about understanding that every moment we have is infinitely precious. It's about preparing, cherishing, and loving fully, so that when the time comes, we can say goodbye without regrets. If you are accompanying someone on their final journey, please hold their hand, Sit close and whisper your love. Even if their eyes are closed, their heart still hears you. Their soul still feels you. Because in the end, the greatest gift is not extending life at all costs, but offering a peaceful farewell wrapped in unconditional love. If today's sharing touched your heart, please leave a like to let me know that these stories and truths have reached you. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to continue exploring the deep human lessons of medicine and life with me, Dr. Late Life. Because the journey of understanding life, death, and ourselves is the most precious journey we will ever take together. See you again in the next video.